Growing up, I thought that I wanted success and fame and glory. I wanted to be worshipped by all these people and to have a place in life or to have a place in society where I was accepted in every group. Every group. It didn't matter who, it didn't matter what race, it didn't matter. I just wanted to be accepted. And I realized that that was my own insecurity when I became older, knowing that all I really wanted was to accept myself. And how was I supposed to know to accept myself growing up? No one's taught that. I feel the majority of our society teaches people to play by the rules and to live like this so that way you can be awarded with this and you can receive this if you do that. And for me, it took me to develop this sense of a high net worth, what I felt was, material goods, women, cars, clothes, to be stripped away from it all, thinking that this is the way that I was supposed to live. I thought I was supposed to have this. Now that I've been stripped of all of my success, I look like a loser. And to me, looking like a loser was essentially just that feeling of worthlessness. I felt no worth at all. I felt no value. And that deterred me from wanting to live anymore. It made me feel like this loser who had nothing, who was worth nothing, and who deserved to basically be dead. And it took me to be stuck in this area of this dark hole, of this sad, cold, lonely self-pity, of a pit of self-pity, to see that I was doing this and it was my choice to feel the way that I felt. I was stagnant, and my stagnancy kept me from wanting to perform. I enjoyed the misery. It became a point where I just wanted to stay in a dark place. But at some point, you realize that the only constant on this planet is change. The only constant in life is change. So I wake up every day, and at some point, my value meter started to rise, because it's like you're seeing that you're waking up every day. It's not your choice to wake up, but it is your choice to pursue life in that day. And I feel that with God giving me that grace to wake up every day, because I am one who was trained to believe in God when I was younger. I separated from it because I didn't like that it was forced upon me. But when I woke up in my later life and I realized that God has always been there, and God is the entity that I choose to worship, that I choose to value, that I choose to see that my life is submitted into, it helps. And seeing that I was given life every day, I could sit there and just waste away, or I could embrace everything that it came with. God has given me this abundance of oxygen to breathe every day. He's given me my heartbeat that beats over 100,000 times a day. God has given me life. What am I doing with that life? At some point, I feel that we get stuck, and for me, I was trapped in this misery, in this depression pit, because I wanted people to feel pity for me. I wanted people to feel sad. I wanted people to feel bad. That was a form of acceptance, because that means that you cared for me. Versus me waking up and realizing that I have fear. And my 3 core fears were the fear of judgment. I didn't want to be judged, because I feel like if you're judged, you're going to be rejected. And if you're rejected, you're eventually going to become abandoned. And for me, that wasn't abandonment in the sense of, oh, okay, so I'm physically alone, I'll see you tomorrow. No, it was abandonment of you can have people around you, surrounding you, who say that they love you and care for you. You still feel like you're alone, like there's nothing for you. There's nothing left but death. But for me, being that narcissistic coward that I was growing up, I wasn't going to kill myself. I didn't have that strength to do it because it felt too real. So it took me to have to go through my despair and depression to look in the mirror one day and say, you know what, I want to choose life. But I had to make that choice on my own. Everyone's mind and everyone's brain makeup is different. It's up to them to choose. That is your right. I chose to want to wake up and look in that mirror every day, and I chose to say, you know what? I read books, I read psychology books, I read the Bible, I read different Buddhist doctrines and philosophical doctrines, and here I am now saying, you know what, everybody says that life is a choice. It's my choice to feel the way that I feel. I didn't believe it at first, but now I do. To make that conscious choice to say, all right, I'm awake today, what am I going to do? I'm going to say, thank you, God. Bam, do that for a month straight. You can now look back on that with intention and say, wow, I spent 30 days saying thank you, God. I said thank you, God, 30 times in the last 30 days. For me, that's like, wow, like, okay, so I had something and it gives me value. I gave worth to something. I can now instill that worth in myself. And then for me, just kept adding on to my routines. I now make my bed. And after I wake up, I say, thank you, God. I make my bed. I brush my teeth. I go outside and do a 5-minute meditation. When you can look back over a 3-month period and you see how many times you've done this, you're entering close to 100 times that you've done something that you chose to do. Not that the world told you to do, not that society told you to do, not your mom and that your dad said, hey, do this and you're going to be accepted by me. You did that because you wanted. I, as a kid, wanted this fame. I wanted glory. I wanted this family that I saw on TVs and movies. How was I going to get that? I was going to get that by putting on a fake smile, being the nice guy, pleasing people, and taking everything that I could from anyone because it made me feel accepted. But when you look at that, in retrospect, that's nothing. All I'm doing was developing these fake facades, these invaluable materials that literally they turn into dust. They're made of nothing, versus me taking that time to develop my own sense of self. And when I realized that, it helped me to see that now in my 30s, all I wanted was stability, mental stability, and to see your fears for what they are. Having that sense of stability allows me to almost fully rid myself of the fear of judgment, the fear of rejection, the fear of abandonment, because I can now be there for myself. And when I can see that I was there for myself, God was there. And then when I was seeing God was there, I was like, okay, you know what? Other people can be there if they want, and they can be there if they don't have to be there if they don't want to. So for me, waking up and having that sense of purpose, that was tough because my worthiness disappeared with my wealth. It disappeared with my sense of self. It disappeared with my facade of this materialistic life that I was living. But it came back in a most powerful way, which is now mine. And I feel that every human being deserves that space to heal, to sit in their despair, to sit in misery, to sit in pain and discomfort, and to embrace what it is that they want to do. It's not right to not want to take your life, and it's also not right to want to make a difference in your life. You choose what you want. Everyone's brain is unique and deserves that space to thrive. And for me, this is how I found my ability to thrive. So take that routine, be intentional about what you're doing, and have an awareness of what you do so you can give yourself grace and credit for the fact that you're doing what you must and what you can in every day to feel your own sense of security, leading to a life of stability. Meaning there's no extreme ups, there's no extreme downs, it's just peace. Find your joy, find your stability, and shout out to us.